UFC, then the man responsible for so many of the matches you see in the UFC. Chief, what's your title? I know that you're matchmaker, but
Senior Vice President of something.
Senior Vice President of something.
Talent Relations?
Of making fights.
Yes.
So we've got some questions for you.
All right.
Most of them are really hard. I'm going to warm you up with a softball question, though. With 2017 coming to a close, what has been your favorite pay-per-view card of the year? And I think I know this one.
It's a toss-up, actually. I think the last two, 217 and 218, were both spectacular, amazing for different reasons.
Yeah,
217 was the most shocking. Right? 217 where the three titles changed hands. That was just an insane event. And then, of course, 218 was just top to bottom. You know, fight after fight after fight. You legitimately had three of the top 5 fights of the year on that card.
So New York and Detroit, that's how I remember what's what.
Yeah.
The correct answer was 2017 in New York because we had 3 belts change hands, and that's never happened before. Okay. That was the correct answer. You were close, though. You were close. Right. Half right. What was your most memorable UFC 217 moment?
The moment that Rose Namajunas won. I don't jump out of my seat too often.
Yeah.
You know, I got to
be
as calm and as collected and poker face as possible, but that was just such a visceral reaction. I was just like, holy crap. I mean, that was most shocking, memorable moment for me.
Well, thanks to Metro PCS, I was actually fortunate enough to be there too. Yeah. And that was the only one I couldn't see going either way. I just thought, I never thought she had a lot of punching power. Apparently I was a little bit wrong on that. Usually when she hurts people, it's with kicks, but...
Just astounding. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that fight. That was, you know, you always know. Like, when you watched her up through her career coming in, which she was in Invicta, she does, right. And my knock on her was, I think for her it's more mental than anything, right? But physically, she's so gifted. She goes for the most amazing, craziest stuff in there, right?
So it's funny, I thought in her fight with Carla Esparza, I thought she was doing fine, but she stressed that she hadn't knocked her out. I was like, just fight the fight.
Yeah.
You don't have to, it doesn't have to be amazing.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on tonight's card?
Ooh. The main card, there's a lot of ramifications, right? We're going to find out if Carlos Condit is still a player. We're gonna find out if Cavillo becomes a player in the division. You've got maybe the single...
We've marketed her like she's going to be, so let's hope.
But hey, at the end of the day, they still got to go in there and they got to fight, right? And so you never know. It's up to them. You've got Khabib, maybe the scariest grappler in all of MMA, and you've got one of the scariest strikers in all of MMA, and there's serious title ramifications there. Then you got the main event. You're going to find out who's the baddest combat sports female athlete on the planet.
At 145, correct.
No.
All correct answers. Real quickly, let me point out the ticker above me. I think it's right there. Metro PCS is taking you from your couch to ours, and once again, giving you free pay-per-view access codes to some lucky winners, multiple lucky winners, for this UFC or UFCs in the year of 2018. The rules are simple. Share your comments, questions, concerns, criticism at hashtag MetroPCS contest on Facebook, Periscope, or YouTube Live between now 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 30th, and you'll be entered for a chance to win pay-per-view code that can be used in 2019 for UFC 2019 or in the year 2018. You get that right?
I got it.
2019 or 2018. You get it. Anyway, back to the questions. You gave me, all right, so a couple years ago, you gave me two good answers on this. Who are fighters to keep your eye on in 2018? You tend to know these things.
Well, Paulo Costa. He's coming up in the 185-pound division.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very scary individual. He appears
is
to
that,
be
is that the guy that fought Johnny Hendricks in his last fight?
That is the man.
Paulo Costa's a bad dude. That's legit.
He's fringe top.
Write that down.
Fringe top 15 now, and we'll see where that goes. Darren Till. I mean, he said he's basically a light heavyweight fighting in the welterweight division, just a massive human being. And Mackenzie Dern will be making her debut in the UFC, I think early 2018. And you know, at
that
one point,
actually is breaking news. Mackenzie Dern, is she the Invicta champion now or no?
no, she did a fight in Invicta. She's kind of been doing going all over.
What weight did she just fight at?
She fought at 115 pounds.
115.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
been
If you're
between
not familiar
125
with Mackenzie Dern, she's probably pound for pound the best female grappler in the world. I didn't know myself that she was actually going to be in UFC until this moment.
Yeah.
I'm glad we do this show. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. I need a bold step out of your suit, your corporateness, and give me a bold prediction for 2018.
Right. Okay. So this is not a cop out.
Okay.
But
feels like a cop out already.
But the
Ironic.
secret sauce to my job is never predict anything. Assume you know
Right,
nothing, and I always try to set myself up for a win-win situation. And so I do not make predictions. I don't predict to know who's going to win that fight, the next fight, any fight. You just set yourself up for if one guy wins one or the other guy wins, it just doesn't matter. You just go in that direction.
And ironically, that's something I've learned by watching your job closely, is that basically you have to be more reactive. You can have a plan. Remember that time me and Chuck Liddell fought? Oh yeah, the UFC set that up for years, and we just both kept losing. We couldn't both win a fight at the same time, so we never did. Right now, I'm going to flip to a little clip of TJ Dillashaw and my friend and co-host Demetrius Johnson. Run it. Marco, his question is, when are you going to take on TJ Dillashaw?
When am I going to take on TJ Dillashaw? Well, when TJ Dillashaw becomes the champion of the bantamweight, and then I'll go up and fight, and I'll become a champ.
Thoughts on that fight?
I'm in.
TJ,
For me, that is the single most intriguing fight of 2018. I am all in on that fight.
At what weight?
Well, it's got to be at 125.
It does have to be at 125.
I would think so, yeah.
You know, I guess I'm a little bold. I was thinking 130, a catchweight, like the Magic super fights.
No, this has got to be for a belt.
It's got to be for a belt.
And
125.
DJ is one of the greatest who have ever done it. Absolutely, he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world.
I'll tell him that when he comes out and takes your spot.
Absolutely, he's a pound for, in my book, he's pound for pound the best fighter on the planet. And he's the best that ever lived at 125, and I think that's where it makes the most sense.
My book too, but then again, I copied most of my answers out of your book, so that makes sense. This is a really good question. We might have a different opinions on this one. Right now, what do you think the most competitive division in the UFC is?
That's tough. Listen, right now, I think it's absolutely 135. I do think so, because you've got three guys plus down there where the title could change hands at any moment. Depends on the day.
Which guys?
Well, you've got TJ. Well, you got TJ. You've got Cody there.
Yeah, that's a coin toss on that fight.
And you got Dominic Cruz there as well. And you've got this new blood that's coming in now too. I mean, you got Jimmy Rivera's, you got Linekers, you got all these other good guys. But I think though, 70 and 55 have always been.
That is great. See, that is the actual correct answer. He said 35 first, which is close. That might be second. That's a B, but the most competitive division is somewhere between 55 and 70. And do you know where that is? Why that is?
Why is that?
Because the average human male in shape falls in that category between 155 and 170.
That's true. And if you look at the size of the roster, the bell curve goes, there's about 100 in each of the 55 and 70 pound divisions. You know, and you go to 45, it falls off a little bit. But, you know, I mean, these guys that are fighting 45 and 35 pounds now, they're the size of when Jens Pulver was the champion at 150. They're enormous guys. They're huge, you know. They're getting bigger every day. So, you know, I tend to think, you know, anywhere in those four divisions.
I believe I'll buy it. This is interesting. What are some factors you consider outside of win or loss when putting fights together?
You know, that's a tough one. Everybody wants to play a matchmaker, right? But people really don't know the parameters that I'm working under. You know, and a lot of it is I got to deal with fighter schedules. I mean, fighters have their own lives. They're off doing other things. So it's their own schedule as well I'm working with. Contractual issues. Do I just simply have to get guys fights, no matter what? You know, and two, you know, again, it's there's only so many spots for each card. It depends on geographically where we're going. There's a lot of guys in their hometown.
There's guys to fight where they're popular.
There's a lot of factors that go involved when making a fight. Not just, and two, is it a great fight? Is it simply a great fight?
Yeah.
You know,
There's definitely been a lot of those.
Yeah.
I don't know, this was a fan question, but I'm going to ask it because they came through the Metro PTS line, so we're going to ask it. I don't love it, but how do you think Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather would do if he signed with the UFC? 40-year-olds.
One, has the guy ever been leg kicked before? And two, has he ever defended a takedown?
Also no.
Probably not that well.
Not well,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, when people ask me who I thought was going to win the Conor Mayweather fight, I would always say, are they fighting MMA or boxing?
Right.
Oh, boxing.
Right.
Probably the guy that's won the 49 boxing fights. He's pretty good at boxing. All right. Oh, this is great. What is your 2018 UFC Matchmaker resolution to make yourself a better matchmaker?
To make myself a better matchmaker. Wow.
Less guys getting hurt?
Less guys getting hurt. Yeah, that actually.
Oh my God, that's me
you
too.
Nobody really understands that I'm on plan C all the time. Plan D. I'm never on plan A. It never ends up the way I want it to.
Like I said about that that fight between me and Chuck Liddell, where we both were like, we're gonna fight. No. What's your favorite part of the job?
Really, it's giving guys chances. I mean, listen, these guys, they all have a dream. We're not looking for the most mediocre accountant in the universe, right? We're looking for guys that want to be the best in the world. And when you can't afford these guys their shot, there's nothing better than that. You see them go in there, and they do get a chance at fulfilling their dream, and that really is the best.
So these are guys coming from like smaller organizations all around the world.
Yeah, anywhere. You know, and the other thing too, people are like, oh, I paid my dues. Oh, I deserve it. Yeah, you and 500 other guys deserve it, right?
That is really funny. Genuinely, my next question was going to be, how does one? Because people ask me this all the time. How does one get their shot in the UFC? Other than trying out for the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender Series.
Sure. A lot. Some of it is right place, right time. But really, it's like, how hot are you? What are you doing? I mean, you're winning fights. What's the level of competition you're winning? Yes. How are you winning? You know, if you're beating really good competition and finishing them, you're probably going to get a shot. You know, can you go on 4 weeks' notice? You know, because most of the time the way in now is through injury replacement.
Well. That's something a lot of guys don't really get, but if you stay in shape, it's funny, I did a mock weight cut Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I lost 20 pounds in 3 days just to see, and my thought is that if you're a competitive professional fighter and that's your job, you should be within a 2-week striking distance of that weight because you never know when the call is going to come to get your opportunity to fight in the UFC. So
no, it's true. And the one thing I think I've found too, and I think you can attest to this, right? Technically, if you don't have a fight, you're in the off season.
Yeah.
If you're not in the gym and you're not improving, you're never going to be champion anyway.
So and that's another thing. There's no off season. The off season is when it's time to improve your skill set.
Yep.
The last 8 weeks before a fight, you were simply preparing and sharpening the sword. You know, getting ready for that opponent. Some guys do. Some guys just sharpen the sword. But it's when you are after a fight, when you're healthy, that you're training, you're learning, you're losing on occasion in the gym because you're trying new things, you're trying to evolve your game.
That's true.
Two guys that are really passionate about MMA. Do you have any questions for me? Do you wonder what I do exactly?
I see you at lunch every day.
I do. I definitely don't miss any lunches.
You are good with that. And then we part ways.
So pretty much, I'm great at eating lunch.